Clapback Thursday. Well, it seems the Saudi money is drying up.
Any idea why it dried up?
It was reported yesterday by every major media outlet that the Saudi Arabia's wealth fund is expected to withdraw financial support from LIV Golf, the league that launched 4 years ago to compete with the PGA Tour. You remember them paying ungodly amounts of money to lure golf's biggest stars over to the LIV.
Sovereign Wealth Fund is on the verge of cutting its support for LIV Golf.
The league struggled to gain traction, and there was little return on investment. According to the New York Times, the Saudi Wealth Fund apparently held an emergency meeting on Wednesday and discussed a new 5-year strategy. One of the officials hinted that the fund would slow down spending on some of their biggest projects.
My goodness, do we have something to talk about when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya's Clapback Thursday that I just showed you. A little different than the usual Clapback Thursday that is usually clapping back at Dana White and Zuffa boxing. Still going the same route, but this time taking an even deeper hit on, in my opinion, the country, the investors, the brains, the minds, Turki al-Sheikh Sella, calling their amendment, the new Muhammad Ali Revival Act, a scumbag amendment.
There might not be any money left.
Where did that money go?
And speaking of Zuffa, man, they're trying to get their scumbag amendments to the Muhammad Ali Act passed through the Senate.
Saying that their money is starting to run out. That all they've done is waste billions and billions of dollars and nothing's happening. I just want people to understand that when Oscar De La Hoya speaks about Zuffa boxing and speaks about the comparison between LIV Golf and Zuffa boxing, which we're about to get into right now, when he talks about these things, it's not a shot at just Dana White, but a huge shot at Turki al-Sheikh and TKO Holdings Group. Look who owns Zuffa boxing. Look who has stake in it. 60% of it is owned by Sella, Turki al-Sheikh, and the Saudi Arabian Public Investing Fund. 40% of it is owned by TKO Group Holdings. Guess who's funding all of Zuffa? Not TKO Group Holdings. In their contract, they actually are doing zero funding. They act like the manager in this deal. At Saudi Arabia, they are the ones who are funding Zuffa boxing. They're the ones that were funding LIV Golf, which Oscar De La Hoya brings up in today's Clapback Thursday. LIV Golf, supposed to be the rivals of PGA Tour. You have these Saudi Arabian rich dudes, part of the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, looking to create a new tour. Like Zuffa boxing, create a new avenue. Disregard the sanctioning bodies. Disregard PGA Tour. Actually spent billions and billions of dollars within the last 5 years since they started investing. I believe they spent over $5.5 billion signing famous golfers from the PGA Tour to 9-figure deals. 9, not 8, 9-figure deals. I heard some golfers getting earnings of $70 million in some of their deals. They have officially pulled out at the end of this LIV Golf last season, will not be funding as much money as they have been into this other avenue for golf players, as Saudi Arabia is looking to cut back. They're looking to cut back on some of the sports investments that they've made but are not making any money back. They're starting to rethink their investments. Not only are they done with LIV Golf and not hitting it the same way that they've been doing. I actually went to go do my research and was studying golf, was actually listening to people who know how they're talking about when it comes to golf. And they basically said that it's coming to catastrophe, man. A lot of these guys that are playing for LIV Golf will eventually end up finding their way back to the PGA Tour. Of course, they're going to have to play in some European circuits to be able to get themselves back. But eventually, they'll be back at the PGA Tour. Some people are saying 70% chance that LIV Golf in the next 2 years completely vanishes. Now, we don't know if that's true. But they're exactly like Zuffa boxing, man. As in, the people who've been watching PGA Tour, the people who've been watching golf for years and years and decades, looked at this new LIV Golf thing, looked at the Saudi Arabian people with all this big bank just trying to pay people off. Come over here, we'll pay you $70 million, 9-figure deals, getting people to sign over. Of course, it had a harsh response, just like Zuffa boxing, bro. People who respect the sanctioning bodies, who love the way the sport of boxing has been for the last goddamn 100 years. Even though you ask OGs, they explain that they remember when there was 2 bouts. I remember when there was 3 bouts. Once they started creating 4, that's when the sport started getting out of hand. But if you live in this era of 4, you're used to that. You're used to that, right? So you respect the way boxing works right now. And even those people have got used to it because they love boxing. No matter what, the OGs, they had to change from watching 3 titles to 4 titles. They still watch boxing right now. They respect it. But when Zuffa boxing came in, everybody said, nah, push back, a huge pushback, especially the stance that they were taking, not wanting to, cooperate with the sanctioning bodies, especially Dana White being part of it. It just had a huge backlash on it. Now, Zuffa boxing is still running. And in my opinion, yes, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, most of the boxing world talks crap on it. But they've only had, 5 events? 5, 6 events? It is early in the business's career. And I feel like it's too early to judge harshly like that. But is it possible that Turkey al-Sheikh and Saudi Arabia's money is actually running out? Oscar De La Hoya pointing out why LIV Golf is messing up and Saudi Arabia is pulling out their public invested fund. They're done investing there. And not only there, but Saudi Arabia also pulled out of their investments that they were doing with Tom Brady's flag football team. Yes, they pulled out of that, and they're selling 70% of what they own. They only own 70% of the soccer team, El Hilal, whatever they call it, signing fighters at one time. I mean, soccer players like Karim Benzema. They are officially had an emergency meeting, spoke about all the different sports that they are investing in, and decided to pull the plug on some of these sports because they're losing out on money. And Oscar believes that this is exactly what's going to happen to Zuffa boxing. Let me give you my opinion on it. I'll be honest with you. They do look very similar. They just signed Conor Benn for a $15 million one-fight deal, right? Turkey, actually, even though they're still putting on amazing events, Ring Magazine, still putting on great fights, it's kind of noticeable that, he's taking a step back from the sport of boxing for a little bit. Everything that's going down with the war in Saudi Arabia, their country's getting hit. They're looking to, reestablish some of their investments to be able to put some of that money back into the economy. And Oscar De La Hoya thinks that Zuffa boxing in a couple of years is going to end up just like how LIV Golf is, where Turki Al-Sheikh is investing all this money. It turns out Zuffa boxing didn't end up working, and they're going to end up pulling the plug. And all these fighters that are signed to Zuffa boxing are no longer going to be getting these fat deals, no longer going to be getting all this money. Now the question is that true? I don't know if Turki would have invested all this money. He owns 60% of it, of Zuffa boxing, and also has stake in the zone. Don't forget, they also got stake in the zone. Looking to conquer the boxing world as a whole, changing the Muhammad Ali Act. I don't think that this is just, let me try to see if it works, and if it doesn't, then I'm bouncing. I think Turki is actually trying to take over the sport of boxing, but still cooperate, as in, you see he's part Zuffa, right? Oscar talks all this crap on Zuffa. He's talking crap on Turki Al-Sheikh, but yet praises the zone. Well, guess what? They also own stake in the zone. I mean, dude, Turki basically is involved in every space of the sport. So it's like, come on, man. I don't think Turki is running that risk and is running dry out of money, and the country of Saudi Arabia is no longer having money to invest in the sport of boxing. And that's it. I think, yeah, maybe Turki Al-Sheikh has took a couple losses, right? And will eventually end up maybe coming down a little bit in above market pay. But I don't know if that's how Zuffa boxing is going to end up turning out. I think Zuffa boxing is actually going to end up succeeding in a couple of years. But that's just my opinion. You never know, man. You know, there's other people that'll tell you that they're not here to stay. Oscar De La Hoya is one of those guys. He says he's going to Washington next Wednesday to the Senate during their Muhammad Ali Revival Act passing. I think on March 24th, they went to the House of Representatives and they passed. There's one more place to go, the Senate. Once this happens, the president's going to sign it over, and the Muhammad Ali Revival Act is official. But let me know what you guys think, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of things we went through. Give me your opinion on what's going to happen and everything that I just broke down to you right now. This is the MMA Boxing Addicts channel. I'm out.